Now, following on from a recent tutorial I did trying to explain layers and layer masks, this tutorial hopefully will put that into practice, put their uses into practice. And as you can see, I have on the left hand side of the screen I have an image of a building which I shot this year in London. It was a pretty miserable, drab morning, and as you can see above the building, the sky has gone pure white. Our objective here is to replace this white area with this image of the sky, which I have opened on the right hand side of the screen. So we'll start off by very simply picking up our move tool, which is V as a shortcut on your keyboard. Simply click on the sky image and drag it across onto the image of the building. We no longer need this sky image open, and we can close it. As you know from the previous tutorial, our objective here is to make certain areas of the sky transparent so we can see the underlying image of the building through it. And we do this with the use of a layer mask. We add a layer mask to layer 1, which is active at the moment. If I double click that and just rename it sky, and we go down here to the bottom of the layers palette and click the add layer mask icon. As you can see, it adds a layer mask which is active, as you can see by the border around it. And as you should know from the previous tutorial, if I pick up my paintbrush, change my foreground colour to black, so I'm now painting with black on the layer mask, the areas that I paint will now become visible through the sky layer. And basically that is the whole principle behind using layers, layer masks. We can cut that back, reveal what we need, and if we zoom in, clean up that a little bit. And now if we reverse our colour again and use white as a foreground, reduce our brush size, we can now paint in those edges of the sky, the building. And as you know, if we go over the building accidentally, it's not a big deal because we're working on a layer mask. We simply change our foreground colour back to black and paint over to make that area transparent again. Change back to white foreground and continue on. There are cases when you will have to manually do this, paint with the brush around more complex masks and areas. But as you can see, it's quite a time consuming thing to do, and it isn't really that accurate. If I click on the layer mask and fill it with white, we're back to where we started, and I'll just zoom out. Luckily, Photoshop can make a better job of this and in a lot less time than we can. And that's simply done by making a selection. But for the moment, just turn off the sky layer. If we can make a selection, exact shape of the building, activate the layer mask and fill that selection, That is, cover the entire building shape with black on this mask. That will make these areas of the sky transparent and the building can show through. So that's what we're going to do. I've chosen this image because it is quite simple, a lot of straight lines. There's good contrast between the sky and the building, and Photoshop can make a very good job of selecting these edges, as we shall see now. If I go over and pick up my magic wand tool and make sure my background layer is active by clicking on it. Now if I click on the white sky, Photoshop automatically finds these edges, which are defined by these so-called marching ants. So we've selected that area. Now I need to select the right hand side, which is easily done. If we hold down the Shift key, you'll see a little plus sign at the crosshairs, which is merely indicating that if we click again, it's going to add another selection to the selection we've already made. So we do hold down the Shift key and click, and as you can see now Photoshop has actually selected this area and this area of the sky. Unfortunately, that isn't the area we need to fill with black. We want that to remain white. We want to select the whole building, but it was easier to select the sky because it was continuous tone. So from here, all we need to do is go up to the top and select inverse. And if I zoom out, you can see Photoshop has now inverted that selection, so the entire building is now our selection. If we turn on our sky layer, activate the layer mask by clicking on it. As you can see, the border indicates that it is active. And now go up to Edit, Fill, and we want to fill this with black. So use our drop down arrows, select black. Okay, let us fill this entire area, the selection, the Photoshop selection, with black, which makes the black areas corresponding here on the sky transparent. And it's done quite a good job of it. If we use Command D to deselect, edit and we zoom in, you can see because of the lines of the building and the contrast we have between them and the sky, it's made actually an exceptionally good selection. One that would have maybe taken us quite a while to do with the paintbrush. If, just for a moment, we turn off that sky layer, you will see this area here that projects beyond the roof line of the building is also covered with sky. And that's because when we used our magic wand, this area is very similar in colour to the sky. So although the magic wand did a good job of selection and defining these lines, because of the similarity here, it has actually included this in the selection. But luckily enough, because we're working in layers and with the layer mask, we can paint on the layer mask to make this area visible again. What we do is pick up our brush. We want to paint with black. Change the foreground colour to black and simply paint that back in. You can see I'm actually going further than I need. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Reduce my brush size. Change foreground colour back to white. And I can paint those areas of the sky back in. And incidentally, I'm using a Wacom graphics tablet here. When you start to make more complex cutouts, layer masks, etc., you will find a graphics tablet invaluable. You will find it quite difficult to do some selections with your mouse, so definitely it is worth investing in a graphics tablet of some description. Alright, so I'm just doing it quickly here. If I reduce the size down more, just to get these corners, they'll hardly be visible in the final image because we're at 240% magnification here at the moment, so there isn't really any need to be too critical. If we zoom back out, you can see the effect, which is quite good. Photoshop's done most of the work for us. At the moment the sky is a little drab looking, but we can make adjustments to that. If we click on the sky itself and it becomes active, and just do a quick image adjustment with levels. By putting the black slider in and the white slider to give me a full range of tones. Straight away you see dramatic improvement in the sky, which is a little dark for the image, so we pull the center slider back to lighten it up. Now you have the final image with the sky dropped in. And the beauty is we can go back and forward changing the layer mask as we feel fit, but Photoshop did all the work, and in a fraction of the time it would take me to do it. This is a very, very simple mask to create. As you progress, you will find you have to tackle more complex masks, and hopefully in the near future I'll do a couple of tutorials showing how we do more complex cutouts using different tools to make these, and I hope you benefit from these tutorials.